Stuart, can
Yes.
you can you talk about the process of integration after the retreat? It's me.
Let's repeat the question, please.
The process of integration of the energy after the retreat.
The process of integrating the
The
energy of the
energy.
retreat
Yeah.
to your life.
Yes.
Well, supposedly the retreat is about building a very strong chakra system. And if you develop that kind of chakra system and sustain it through your everyday work in your everyday life, understand that's how you cross the bridge. Understand every retreat you attend will help to develop the chakra system. Every meditation class you attend will help to develop the chakra system. And then one has to sustain it. In other words, don't get swept away in all the dramas of life. Don't waste your energy on illusion and nonsense. Make conscious choices about how you want to live, who you want to be in your life. Things of that nature all help to build an environment around you that sustains the changes and the transformations that take place in a retreat. Retreat is a place to go and build a very, very strong chakra system. Chakra system is not something that just disappears. We have to consciously cross the bridge, bring all of that energy, bring an open heart, a quiet mind, a quiet throat, you know, the balance from the energy below the navel and the chakra below the navel, a quiet sexual energy. Bring that into your everyday life. And if you manage to do that by sustaining the work that goes on in a retreat, you take enormous steps in not only a spiritual life, but just learning how to live here like a human being, to have a happy life. It's contingent on the development of an inner life. You understand, a spiritual life is not from the outside in. You can't put on a uniform, a costume, smell from a certain incense, and eat certain foods and think that's going to give you a spiritual life. No. Spiritual life comes from that seed of God that's in every human being and that produces the tree of life. And that enables us to deal with all facets of life, whatever we have to take care of in order to work out our karma, to live in the world, to truly learn to be happy people. And going to a retreat helps to build an inner life like that. Whether you sustain it or not, that is your responsibility. And the commitment you've made in yourself to nurture the spiritual. As I say all the time, a spiritual life, you know, is a 24-hour day, 7-day a week existence. It's not just a meditation class. As I say all the time, a meditation class is not a spiritual life. A meditation class is truly a place where you build a system that enables you to have a spiritual life. And the fact that God's energy, the energy of a higher nature, is infinite in the universe. That meditation class or that retreat that you attend enables you to build a system that is in a continuum, and it's a continuous growth inside you. Because frankly, there's no human being that can, open and embrace the totality of the universe. But knowing that we have to grow every day and develop a system, it really brings us to a state of enlightenment. So enlightenment is not arriving, enlightenment is growing. And, a retreat is just, it's like basic training. It's like going to a place where you're learning the craft of meditation and how to apply that craft to the development of a system inside you that is strong enough to become a child of God.
You used the expression the tree of life. What did you mean?
What does it mean? It means, look, uh, look, I wrote a book once called Navigating the River of Time. And at the beginning of the book, I talk about a tree. When the roots of a tree are healthy, understand a hurricane can't blow the tree down. A palm tree will bend. It will not fall over. The roots are healthy. Frankly, the roots in most people are not very healthy. They're not strong, they're not developed. They're starving to death in most people. That is the seed that produces the tree of life, is just a metaphor for that seed of God inside us that grows, chakra system grows and develops and is capable of embracing every single facet of life and opening and learning from it. So the tree of life is not a tree, it's not an oak tree inside you. It's a metaphor for that incredible and powerful chakra system that can grow. And like you see an oak tree, it goes endlessly, grows and embraces and receives, light and air and, water, everything nurtures it. And if it's strong, if the roots are strong, a hurricane, a tornado is not going to blow it down. Problem with people is every little drama blows people down. The roots in them are not strong enough to just stand there and not let it, take them apart. So life is one continuous soap opera of people getting hurt, getting angry, getting upset, blaming everybody else for what's wrong in the world, and never for a second taking a look inside themselves and saying, how does this world reflect me? It's a good question to ask. How does all the insanity that reflect what goes on inside me? How can I change inside myself? And if people would make an effort to change inside, develop that tree of life, metaphorically speaking, the world would change. But it's not going to change because almost nobody does it. Everybody's very good at blaming everybody else. So the tree of life is a metaphor for a chakra system, actually. You see it in Islam, they used to make carpets with the tree of life and paintings of the beautiful things they used to produce. You know,
Beautiful. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, I have a question. Stuart, what makes for a good question?
Look, a good question is not some intellectual exercise that you're asking me to compare and contrast one religion and another. That's not a good question. It's bullshit. A good question comes from a place inside a human being that truly is struggling to get an answer to a situation that's going to help them go to the next level of their life. The need in a person to grow produces great questions. Not, well, compare and contrast and fill in the dot and all that stuff that people, the questions they ask, there's nothing to do with it. What has to do with it is how deeply a person needs to grow. And a question comes out of that depth of need. And then, it's great for a teacher to get questions like that because they make the teacher grow also. So it's not only the student that grows, it's the teacher that grows. I mean, Rudy once told me a great student can take a lousy teacher and make him into a great teacher. I'll never forget. A great student. Teachers dream about great students because they need them in order to attain, to build and develop the metaphorical tree of life in themselves, that keeps growing endlessly into the universe. So that's a good question. And it should get a good answer if you ask a question. I mean, I know like Marcia's question really had to do with her going to another level and using that whole tree of life thing as a way of getting. I mean, I told her in the last retreat, I wanted to become a lioness. I really did. It's true because she needs that, you understand? And I look in her eyes now and there's fire. There's strength that I never saw before there. Does anyone else have a question they would like?
Stuart, it's Kenny.
Yes, Kenny.
I was reading Spiritual Cannibalism, and Rudy was talking about how if somebody grows energetically like a lot, but they don't express joy in their day-to-day life, that it's actually very dangerous. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, you've known teachers like that. I mean, you've known people like that. They grow and look, if you build the chakra below the navel and develop it without developing the heart center with love, with joy, with compassion, you become a dictator. You understand? The energy is so raw and powerful. You become an autocrat instead of a spiritual teacher that is nurturing people. The guardrail is an open heart. Like Rudy said, with joy and love. It's an open heart. That allows that strength to emerge with love, compassion, understanding and tolerance for other people, patience, forgiveness. So, I mean, Rudy was right on, and I learned that from him too. He used to tell me that all the time. He once told me, I give Muktananda, I am a celibate, I'm a vegetarian. I mean, Rudy, a vegetarian was something extraordinary. I really mean this. I'm a vegetarian. I offered him my business. I'll give him everything. The only thing he won't take away from me is the joy and the love in my heart. Remember, he told me that. Because that's where the real teachings come from. Not from, I am God and you better listen to me or I'm going to cut your whatever off, there's nothing to do with it. It comes from the heart. And I'm not saying I was able to do this 20 years ago. I wasn't. But gradually, incrementally, I began to realize, Stuart, that is what the teachings, joy, love, gratitude, patience.
So does that mean as we go through the day, we should really be focused like in interactions and stuff more on the heart chakra or
Well, the first interaction is with yourself. Do you like yourself? Is your self-worth? I don't mean egotistical self-worth. That's where it starts. And once that gets clear, there's no problem reaching out to other people, having room inside yourself, not judging people. I told you before, look, I look at Donald Trump, I just have so much compassion for that guy. He's such an unhappy human being. I can't imagine spending 10 minutes around that person because the unhappiness just oozes out of him. I just have compassion for this guy. Needs to hurt people and destroy the world. And I've never seen this guy smile unless he was doing something dark to somebody else. So instead of being upset at him, I have compassion for this guy. I really do. That's what Rudy's talking about. He once told me, I'll never forget this. I was standing at the entrance to his store, and he said, a guy came in who wants to study with me. I took one look at him, and I could see that this man someday was going to be a revolutionary that might be responsible for hurting a lot of people. And he came in, he wanted to study with me. And he said, Stuart, I cannot understand how and why God sends me my students. If he's real and he wants to come to my classes and grow, I will take him as a student. And I had a situation like that years ago in Texas. I'll never forget it, where I had a student who had bought a bunch of paintings, Tibetan paintings, and wanted me to look at them so we would buy them together because he knew nothing about it, and I would, you know, and I had, really very little knowledge, but at least a little bit, you know. So I went and looked at the paintings, and there were three of them that were really good, and the other three were just really mediocre works of art. So I said to him, these three I think are really good, and these are mediocre. So he went out and he bought the three paintings for himself. He bought the six paintings. And he asked if I could send a couple of my students in to get the paint. So he gave them the three mediocre paintings. And he was my spiritual student, this guy. So they came, I looked at them and I said, what is he doing? Is he crazy? I don't want to go bring them back to him. I don't want them. And then he said, well, and they said to him, well, Stuart's your teacher, you know, at least give him one good one, he's your teacher. So they came back and told him, his response was, Stuart's not my teacher, he's my friend. So they came back and told me this. And I said to them, God sends me my students. My friends I choose very, very, very carefully. And it was the same way with Rudy. That guy came and he said, I can't turn him down. Maybe I can help him grow past this thing inside him that's so angry. Or maybe I'll just build him to where that anger will spill out in the world. It's compassion for the human race, compassion for people, wanting people to grow, wanting people to have happy, wonderful lives. And having patience, because it takes a very long time for people to learn this. It took me a very long time to learn this.
Stuart, have you ever turned away someone who's come to study with you?
I think I have, but I don't remember why. But it must have been something awful, really awful. And I've told people to stop studying with me for a number of reasons. First of all, they weren't growing, and it was a waste of my time and their time. Or secondly, they would start creating situations that had so much drama and tension involved in them, bad-mouthing me and bad-mouthing other people that were teaching and doing stuff like that. I said, I don't need these people. I don't want to get into this. I can tell you stories, that really unbelievable stories about things that have happened to me with people. And yes, but the one thing I know about my own life, it's highly protected. Rudy, Nityananda, Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, Kala Rinpoche. I have a host of spiritual energies, souls in the cosmos that really have set up a protective, God around me. And I have needed it. I mean, I've had somebody who tried through black magic, tried to kill me. It's a long time ago, but this really happened. And it was just jealousy, So yes, I have said no to people. Not very often, because I want to see the possibility in people and what can truly help them to grow. And if a person is a hard person, I don't care, because many hard people have made me grow in order to touch the depth inside them. I mean, I saw what Rudy went through. Unbelievable. It was so extraordinary what he went through. And how he was capable of putting everything aside except one thing. I want to grow spiritually. And I can use anything to help me get there, no matter how difficult it is. Does anyone else have a question? So don't complain about life, just grow. Use everything. I really mean it. Use everything as a reason to grow, not as a reason to defeat yourself. Because that's the purpose of karma, to give you 1,000 reasons every day to grow instead of defeating yourself. Okay, if there are no more questions, then thank you. God bless you. What an incredible session, huh? God bless you. God bless Rudy and Nityananda. And I'm just sitting here waiting. I can't wait for this book of mine to come out. I think it's just an eye-opening, thing that'll really give people a deeper understanding of what Rudra meditation is really about. So hopefully soon we'll be able to have it. So thank you. There'll be class on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to seeing. There's a class Tuesday afternoon. A lot of you attended. Those of you that would like to attend and you don't have an invitation, invitation, just let me know. I will send you an invitation for the afternoon classes as well. So God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody soon.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.